I'm glad you found me. Thanks for joining me tonight. Let's get out of the rain and get settled in and talk a little 1111 true crime with Mama D. Remember, everything I share with you is only my opinion. I don't always agree with the ones that call me, but I respect their own expressions and beliefs. Opinions, speculation, it's all a part of every investigation, but it's only possibilities and theories based on our thoughts and feelings and not considered fact. Welcome home. Let's get in where it's warm. I've got us a nice crackling fire waiting. Well, hello, my beautifuls. Let me make sure I'm not overpowering the mic. Well, my gracious. So, in the Sebastian Rogers case, we've been asking what the neighbors know. JLR did an interview exclusively with Bobby, the neighbor. Now, Bobby did know quite a bit of things. There were things that we all know, but she also said a couple things that I'm like, wait a minute, I did not know the details of that. So I grabbed little snippets. But before we dig in real deep, I want to tell you it is worth watching the entire interview over at JLR, and the link is in my description. And after the live, it will be pinned down below. So make sure and go give him love. You probably already do, but it's a good way to get some information. He does a great job. So thank you, JLR, for that. And then I want to just shout out to Brandon Maddox because he is an incredible musician. And I use his song at the end. He wrote it himself, he plays the music, and he sings it. So he is incredible. Welcome to Late Night True Crime Chat, or just Crime Chat, with Mama D. There was a lot said, you guys. We're going to get into this. Let's go ahead and let's talk about Sebastian first. Sebastian is 15 years old, and he is missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He went missing. Well, he was reported missing on February 26th. If you have any information, please contact TBI at 1-800-TBI Find. Thank you so much for that, because we do want him found, and we are well over 100 days. It's getting frustrating. Our hot topic tonight is neighbor Bobby. So let's go ahead and get chat on the board, see what's going on. Hello, Carolyn Miller. Now, if you are with me on the live, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Jennifer Swain, Joyful Dolphin. Good to see you both. Sassy's here. Thank you. Mr. Ifs is here. And I think there was a couple others, too. I can't scroll back any further. Let me just see on my phone. Yeah, Judy Bill's here, but she's also had a full day. So, I mean, we have a wonderful, wonderful mod crew here, you guys. Give them a big thumbs up, a whole bunch of love. They do a beautiful job. And if you are watching replay, thank you so much. Remember, you have the ability to push that little button and fast forward so that you don't have to hear the meet and greet. Just give us a minute and rejoin, and we'll be talking about what the neighbor Bobby had to say. And like I said, I have a couple clips I want to share with you. And I want to talk about my blackout theory, because a lot of what Bobby the neighbor shared literally is like it aligns. And I got a map to show you, and oh yeah, we're going to dig a little deeper into this. Hey, Tickety Boo, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Glenda Hinshaw, welcome back, lovely. Candy Wrapper, 14 months as a starlight seed. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. Hey, Dana Lynn. Hello, Judy. How are you? Starry night. Good to see you all. All right, my lovely Luz. Oh, my golly. Where do we start? You want to sit in our backyard? Dibs on a chair? Just make yourself at home. Get comfortable. Let's talk about this for a minute. Yes, if you hear absolutely beautiful piano music, it's my son practicing, Quentin. He doesn't even know I'm live, so. Anyway, Sebastian Rogers is one of those cases that has us absolutely, no matter who you are, you don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. No one knows but Sebastian and the person he was with, if he was with someone. Now, we all have theories. Some of us, like myself, have several theories. Like, I still want to know, did Seth get a lunchtime around 3 a.m.? Was he on camera for an hour during his lunch? I don't know. Where was Katie really? Was she really home that night? Did CP come to the home? And did he go straight from there and go right to work? Who knows? But in the blackout theory, it basically was the theory that Sebastian didn't make it home. So if you want to watch it, I'm talking about from the Roadhouse, the restaurant. Didn't make it home in that theory. Now, if you want to watch that, it's called Blackout, Operation Blackout, and check it out. But I'm going to walk you through a little bit before we get into what Bobby's saying, because you guys know Bobby just gave her interview last night, and my blackout theory was a couple weeks ago. And so she's describing some tall, skinny guy walking on the road with what appeared to be a woman. And she's explaining these big ski mask like goggles, but it being pitch black. And I'm watching this live as JLR's doing this interview, and everybody in chat is screaming, night goggles, night vision, night vision. And I'm like, well, there's part of my theory, but I didn't understand the tall, skinny guy. Didn't get that part. But anyway, that was part of what I was like, what? That's weird. But then, oh my golly, let's get onto a map, you guys. Okay, if we go over to movie time and we choose our browser, I think this will work. Yeah. Yes. I've already got stop record on the screen right here. Let me lower my mic a little so I don't bust anybody's eardrums. Okay, so right here on your screen where I'm pointing, you can see stop record. Now I took notes. As Sebastian's shoes got thrown into the dumpster, just a clear bag, nobody would know what it was for. And yet it would cause those dogs to hit on the dumpster, which is what this neighbor, Bobby, goes on to talk about. Am I buffering? Buffering and refreshing. Hold on. Let me try it again. We'll just wait it out for a minute, I guess. Buffering after refreshing. Sorry, guys. That's not me. But, like I said, it makes me wonder. In that blackout theory, I suggest that Sebastian literally doesn't make it home. That before he reaches the house, at the last second, somewhere in here, there's an exchange where that's when Sebastian goes with the other person, which I've begun to wonder, could it be CP with his mom's car, right? Because where is he until 5:30 in the morning, right? So then if he drove all the way back here and he made it here at around 3-ish, and he parked the car here and was going across to give her the shoes so that she'd have shoes to prove he came home, allegedly, right? Then would he have it in time to make it? And is that why he showed up early at work? Because he literally hot-footed it back from here at 3 o'clock all the way back to work. I hope I wasn't muted that whole time. You would tell me, right? You missed a lot of what I was saying? Oh no. Wonder why. Okay. Yes, much better now? Okay. I'm going to go back over it because I'm just going to repeat myself. In the blackout theory, I explained that it was my theory, my humble opinion, that there was an exchange when the child and the mother were returning home. And I felt that right every time I go to talk about Sebastian Rogers, I have problems. That's what I know. Am I back? Can I start the live over? No. If I even talk about it, I'm blocked. Do you catch me? Not only are my videos blocked, I'm just going to leave my theory out of this. We're going to talk about everything else so that we don't buffer. I know. I'm saying if I even say that theory, everything goes haywire. Like all of a sudden, okay, when I was creating that file, we're just going to call it that file, I was creating it on my PowerPoint. I have used PowerPoint for the last 10 years faithfully, and ever since I've been in YouTube, I use it. I've never had a file allegedly go corrupt and refuse to save ever. No matter what, even when I started it over 3 times, that file refused to save until I named it something besides his name. Now, I thought it was interesting when I put suspect in the title, I get a red flag. If I take it out, it's released. Just saying. So I think we're on to something. I'm just going to say, let's put it this way. There were a lot of things that Bobby the neighbor shared on the JLR interview that worked. Very much so. Very much so. If you look at this, here is a construction site over here. I suggested that the baggie was washed out in the dumpster, that the shoes had been literally taken over here, that baggie was washed out in the retaining thing. The shoes were given to the parent over here at the house. And then the person was on their merry little way. Everything happening between 6 and midnight and cleanup and returning shoes after that. I know it, Jennifer Swain. We are onto something. Now, you guys, you're about to get the creeps. Just remember what I all shared with you just now. And if we start to buffer, don't give up on us. We got to show this.
But does any neighbors think it was a kidnapping or like think their children are in danger?
So that was the very first thing I asked on Wednesday when TBI came and sat down with me and talked to me. And I looked at her. I said, I get that you guys are being super quiet about this because it is still an investigation. However, if this kid was kidnapped, don't you think you might want to tell us so that we can kind of lock our kids up and, be safe or whatever? And she, instead of her, and I guess is, again, part of the investigation, she said, well, you should always do that.
That's interesting. Yeah, they have a responsibility. I mean, if one of their theories is Sebastian got kidnapped and they never said Sebastian was kidnapped.
But there was there were no cars that came up their street and then left up their street and left. The only car that was ever seen was the one that was on Kellen that parked on the corner of Stafford and Kellen for about 3 or 5 minutes where the flashlights came towards it, backed up and left. And then the trash truck.
So she's going to get into a whole nother part of it. There was a car. This is what Bobby the neighbor is explaining. There was... Let me grab a drink real quick. We're going to call it the handoff theory so that we don't buffer. Okay. In the handoff theory, right? It would have taken place right after the meal. And it would have been handed up right at the last second. And I got to thinking, here is where what she's saying, if we look at the map, let me go back to the map. Oh, I closed it. Okay, remember the map? That's where they probably parked for the handoff. And that's where the shoes are getting transferred. That could explain the light moving across the yard, which is going towards what I believe, to the best of my knowledge, is a car. Much better, Candy Wrapper. Thank you, lovely. Yeah, as long as we don't say my theory, as long as we call it the handoff theory, we do not have any issue. Do you notice that? That is bizarre. See you when you get home, Jenny. Be safe, lovely. Okay, listen again, you guys, what she says. This is so important. This is one of the biggest takeaways from that whole interview. And I believe this part because I've heard rumors, but I didn't know which street. I didn't know what approximate time. I didn't know how long the vehicle had been there. Listen again.
No, there were no cars that came up their street and then left up their street and left. The only car that was ever seen was the one that was on Kellen that parked on the corner of Stafford and Kellen for about 3 or 5 minutes where the flashlights came towards it, backed up and left.
And if you go over to Bed Crime Stories, she has a video of it. Now, I wasn't going to clip it because she only has like a 6-minute video, and that's most of it. So I'm not going to steal it, because that would be stealing, in my opinion. Everybody's different, but I just feel you should watch her video. So I didn't put a link. I should have grabbed a link for you. But it was Bed Crime Stories, and I'm sure others have it as well. But I saw it at the very last minute. She said it's on a Facebook group. She brought it onto YouTube, so check her out. But this car lights up. You can't quite tell if it's headlights or taillights, but you can see it. It's there approximately 3 to 5 minutes, sitting there right at the beginning of the cul-de-sac that Sebastian goes missing on the night he goes missing. Now, it's my humble opinion that would not be the time that Sebastian would go missing because it would be too high risk. Neighbors would hear him. He might tell somebody something unless he was tricked. Would he leave with his shoes off, though? I don't think so. I think the shoes were pulled off of him once he got at his destination, and that was to keep him from running. But that's just my opinion. My personal thoughts are irrelevant. What you think is important. But I do have to ask, is this where his tennis shoes are being given to the mother and taken back to the house so that they can sell their story?
In the trash truck, and then Katie's SUV, and then the police, or then the school bus, and then the police. So there was no other car that ever drove up Stafford.
Was it a car that the lights
That
went
was
to? Or like an SUV or a car? Like what type of vehicle was it?
I don't know. I don't remember. It just the words that where I was told was unidentified car. I don't know if it was an SUV or a car or what. That was just what I was told. It was an unidentified car. And that was another thing is when I asked the lead detective, I said, this car that was on Kellen, he was like, yeah, we already figured that out. That was an Uber. And I was like, no, the Uber was a neighbor on Devon that ordered an Uber about 5:30 to go to the airport. I know that. But the car why would a car sit on Kellen if they were going up the street to get the customer to leave? I mean, you don't sit there.
Coincidentally, at the same time, lights are flashing around. around the time.
Well, at that same time, the trash truck would have been through there. So
Yeah.
like you wouldn't have gotten that confused. Why would a car be sitting on our road like around 3:30, 4 o'clock Monday morning? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
So what she's talking to, and jailers, they're talking about the flashing lights. That is a completely different event. That's two separate events, and that's what she's trying to explain. There was an Uber. Absolutely was an Uber. She knows for a fact. And it was to pick up a guy, a neighbor that lives on Devon Street, and drive him to the airport. And that was at the same time as the trash truck. However, she's saying that there was also an earlier second or earlier first event hours earlier when it's still blackout, even though the other one's dark too. This, she says, was a couple hours earlier where they see a car that lights up like it had been sitting there, right? It just all of a sudden the lights come on. And it sits there 3 to 5 minutes. And at that same time, you get the whole Nick Barris, only she has a whole screen of the light movement towards the back of Sebastian's house between him and his neighbor's backyard, right? And so I'm asking you guys, what were they transferring? I agree. What in the
Well,
hay?
one thing I say, and it's the truth, the law enforcement is not obligated to tell the public the truth.
That's true.
We have to tell law enforcement the truth if we're being interrogated or questioned or whatnot, in a sense, because you could be, charged with lying. But they're not under any legal obligation. I mean, morally, you would think they would tell the truth, but they don't legally have to. And they can lie to the public, and they do.
And they do. And they definitely do. And it could be that is remember when Nick Barris was like, if it's not a criminal investigation, why can't you tell us what this is? And the guy said, I can't. Right? Law enforcement was like, no. They never said it was a trash truck. We got that it was a trash truck from Seth. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's strange to me. Sheriff Barbanes says, I said earlier, what if they rinsed his clothes or shoes in the pond to throw off the dogs? Thank you, lovely. That's what I'm asking. Jennifer Swain, I think it would be the plastic bag the shoes were in. Like you can get no scent bags. Okay, you order them from herbal stores, if you get my meaning. For large quantities of, you don't want the whole world to smell the MJ. And they're airtight. Like you could go on an airplane, they say, with one of those. I don't know how true that is. But could the shoes have been put in that and then that bag rinsed out? Or, like Sherilyn Bain says, could it have been that they rinsed off something? Dana Lynn says, is that why the sour socks, I call them the dirty socks, went out of town immediately? Like, so that's a great question, right? Anna Jean, good point, Cheryl. Remember, there were footprints leading up to the pond also. So somebody goes up there barefoot to make it look like a kid, right? And his foot's as big as an adult's. They rinse out the bag that the shoes were in. And there you have it. Throw the plastic bag in the dumpster. And there you have a landfill search. Lisa says she saw a tall, slender guy walking in dark clothes. What or who do you think that was? That's a great question, you guys. What do you think? Who do you think that was? Dana Lynn says it was a bear footprint that went into the pond. Carolyn Miller says a hat toss into the water. Oh, I don't believe that hat belonged to anyone else. Oh, Carolyn Miller, you could be right. So, do you guys remember that interview? Let's see. Let me grab a picture if I have it. I'm going file digging. Hold on. Let's go down. We'll grab Sebastian Rogers' file. There was a hat that Sebastian Rogers wore. And actually, it wasn't. And I don't have it. Dang it. The one thing I need. I got a picture of Chris, but I don't want to show it. Yuck, I don't like looking at him. Okay, I do not have it. So he had a black clover Lib Lucky, it's called. Lib Lucky black clover hat. This is talking stepdad. He had one. He wore it in an interview. Then it was later, like a couple weeks later, somebody found almost the same hat, only the one that was found, I believe, was black or really dark colored and smaller. Could somebody have just in the night thrown his hat in that pond? Let it sail? Janine Stewart says, in my opinion, the guy she saw walking in pitch black with the dark eye goggles on, they were wearing night vision goggles. I think a lot of people are wondering if that is it. Cheryl Barbain says, or they got rid of them. Who knows? Who really knows how many pairs of shoes he had? True. He could have had 12 for all we know. I do have a question, you guys. Sebastian is a very intelligent child. He can play chess, all right, at a very young age. Not a dull kid, by a long shot. We find out from Seth that Sebastian is home alone at nights. How does anybody know who he hooked up with online? Well, he only had me and my friend on there to hook up with. You don't know that. Your kid is smarter than you think. And the terrarium of a house that's over at his bio mom's house is like this little sheltered bubble world where it's cut off, no friends. It could have affected him emotionally and mentally to trust someone, right? True, Dana Lynn, the mother reported only 3 pairs of shoes. Lisa says Ellie needs to take lessons from Florida and Texas. Just saying. Cheryl says it could have been the stepfather and CP's mom. The handoff theory? Mm-hmm. Annie Jean, he's got different colored hats with that clover. In the photo with them holding the new dog, he is wearing a silver one, I believe. I bet he does. Baby Duck, hello and welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say a female searcher said that was her hat that she lost. I had never heard that. Lisa says that was my first thought as well. Look how involved CP's parents were when they stole Faith from Nina, allegedly. CP immediately stated it was because he was growing so fast, says Dana Lynn. Co says she can make the shoe story up very easily. Mm-hmm. Truly. How do we know that they didn't have a pair at Grandma's house at the Dirty Soxes? Lisa says, well, I didn't know that. Cheryl Barbain says, I know they are shady as F. Plus, they were following and threatening searchers at Lisa, right? Could his teacher a male? I have no idea. Joyful says, I play chess too. I love chess. My favorite game. Very cool. You play it every day. The Ruckus video where silhouette, where one had a ponytail, I assumed it was Katie, but was it Chris or Seth? I've never been able to see what you guys see. Jim Jerkins says, if they had Wi-Fi, he was smart enough to get the password. I agree, because I've had children. One of my sons is autistic, and he is very good with his computer. Excellent. So it does make me wonder. Now, the other thing I want to talk about tonight is,
All about.
let me get it over to movie time. And we're going to let this play out and give it a listen. This is about a silhouette in the window. Somebody moving towards the window. After she says that two individual silhouettes or shadows or people moving in the house, the lights go out, there's a silhouette in the window. Now, here's my problem with this. First of all, I'm not blaming Bobby. Thank you, Bobby, for doing an interview. She is explaining to you prior to this that this is all third-party stories. She did not see it. She's explaining this is what neighbors have told her. So if you don't believe the story, that's absolutely fine. Use your discernment. But how would this happen if the house is completely a blackout? If the interior lights go out and it's a blackout, how would you possibly see a silhouette? I have an answer. Because it was darn near a full moon. The full moon had been on the 25th. That's how. So I was questioning it, but then I had to check, and yep. So this is possible. But is it true? It's hearsay for now. It's the telephone game. Neighbor telling a neighbor telling us. So use your discernment. Here you go.
Okay, so if I go back to day one and kind of rehash a little bit, try to make this as short as possible, the neighbor close by that saw Katie out front on the way to taking her kids to school, she was the one that called me. Friends, I'm good friends with her. She's the one that actually called me and told me what was going on. And said that I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, I went and asked Katie what happened. And she said, and this is where the story gets totally misconstrued. I don't know. Again, third party, I'm hearing this from another third party source. So, I trust this lady. She's a good friend of mine. There's no reason why she would lie. But she said, when Katie they had gotten home from Texas Roadhouse, took the trash out, so on and so forth. Sebastian was in his room. She was in the kitchen, I guess, getting, whatever done. And from her house, she's close enough to where she can see from the Ring camera, like the lights inside, because it's dark. So, I mean, if you have lights on, you can see it. And so she said that she could see the lights in the house around 10 or so. Then Katie told her that Sebastian was in her room. She was in the kitchen. She said, you need to go to bed. And he said, okay. And she goes in the living room and does whatever, watches TV. She says she was studying. I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. She was in the living room for whatever reason. And suppose she told my neighbor that she fell asleep and
Say that again. You broke up. Say it again. You broke up.
She this funk, and she yelled across the house and said, Sebastian. And he said, yes, mom. And she said, are you okay? He said, yes, I'm fine. I'm good. Go to bed. And she said, okay. So she gets up, and my neighbor said, you can actually see his light go off, her walking across the house, her light go off, and then a silhouette come up to the window for a minute. And
Did you hear all that? So according to this neighbor, Bobby, who's explaining this is being told to her. All right, so she doesn't know for sure either. She's sharing what she's been told. Um, and what she's sharing is that this neighbor has explained that not only does she have video stuff, which explains that all this takes place with the light goes out, you see what is allegedly Katie or someone moving through the house, and then that light goes out, and then after both those lights go out, she's claiming to see a silhouette come up to the window. Now, that was followed by a thug. That's what she said. But I think she means a thud. Was that a failed attempt to climb out his window? And then Katie didn't want anybody to know that he went out that window? I'm just asking. Let me come back over. We'll come back to it. Let me come back over and see what you guys are thinking. Oh my gosh, Debbie Clark says they allegedly got a new puppy for Faith. Y'all, did anybody else see the alleged paperwork where Faith is going to be with CP for the summer? That he allegedly got custody of Faith for the summer? What is it, G? Oh, in the Ruckus video? CO says the neighbor seems believable. She gets the next cease and desist. Cease and desist. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm glad you made it back, Jenny. Welcome back, lovely. D says, oh, boom. B says maybe the tall man was Mr. Dirty Socks and the woman was Mrs. Dirty Socks. What would they be doing out at night? I guess I could say they were searching for Sebastian. But whoever it is, wasn't there like other law enforcement, and they had like, I didn't quite understand the drone thing, but a motion drone. I mean, the people would get caught. So whatever they were doing, I feel like it could have been part of the surveillance of the neighborhood. Maybe it was law enforcement doing a walk through as if reenacting what they think happened or something. Ooh, Glenda Hinshaw, that's scary as heck. What if Sebastian met someone online and they met him outside his window? Now, I had the same question today. And then I had two thoughts. And everything about the online predator, whatever you want to call it, vanished. And that thought was, Katie had that one time that she lived there that the entire house was blacked out. There's no way, in my humble opinion, that that's not a premeditated decision. You can't even tell who took the garbage out. You can't even tell if it's male or female, if they're big or little, because that flashlight is the only thing on screen, and it is blaring, glaring, and hiding the person taking that garbage out. And they can't tell who's driving that vehicle because it's dark out, and then when they pull into the garage, it's dark at the house. And then the garage door is shut. So even Bobby herself said none of them can verify who was driving, if Sebastian made it home. All they can say is it looked like Katie's car. Carolyn Miller says online possible, but not probable, in my opinion. Colleen says, why would they let CP have Faith for the summer while Sebastian is missing? It blew my mind. Not custody, a visitation, says Debbie Clark. It was a certain channel, sorry. Not custody as yet. Visitation. Okay. Still, I mean, there's a missing child, and face it, the parents, all of them, Seth included, are not clear of anything. And though we don't hear, oh, it's a criminal investigation, we can't discuss it because it's under investigation. I mean, you guys, since when do they have dogs for a missing person and search a landfill for a missing person? Have a DA for a missing person case? I'm just asking. Jim Durkin says you were spot on with that. Candy Wrapper says Bobby also said, but if you look at their yard and everything else, you wouldn't even think they had children. Right, no bike, no basketball, nothing. Right, Dee says, I hope not. Did he admit to that? My goodness, I never heard that. In your opinion, or you believe you heard, he admitted to backhanding the child because she was too young for the BELT. Wow, I never heard that. Dana Lynn, so where is CP going to keep his daughter? In the RV? I'm sure they're going to have a house. They're just not going to be letting nobody else know where it is. Lisa says, yes, ma'am, I agree. I'm sticking with the premeditated theory. Also, if Sebastian took the trash out, why didn't the dogs catch his scent from the house to the curb? Amen. That's a good question, Miss Anonymous. Carolyn Miller believes the visitation should be supervised 100%. Jenny Bill says, laws in Tennessee are whack, in my opinion. If they let a parent have summer visitation, even though one of their children is missing, WTAF. You're right. I agree with you. Moonlight Rays, good evening, Mama. Well, good evening to you, my beautiful. Miss None Your Business, hi everyone. Loving your background, Mama D. Thank you, lovely. Sassy says, these people have too many connections, clearly, in my opinion. Mo P says, it seems like CP has a lot of pull in certain states, doesn't he? It seems like it. It does. Glenda Henshaw says, quick story. My son, 25, has been playing online games since high school. He was in a friend's wedding out west in Colorado, who he became friends in real life. It's a dark place. You lost me. I disconnected something. Lisa says, I can't imagine the nightmare the sweet boy lived in with CP and KP. Grr. Ooh. Mo Peace says, he's still a suspect. How can they even let Grace? Okay, it would be his child, and that's, her name is Faith. I'm trying not to say the child's name, so just say his daughter. You know, she is a minor. Candy Ripper says, I don't think they should even get visitation with the daughter where Sebastian is missing and hasn't been found yet, especially if the parents had something to do with the unalived birth of Sebastian, in my opinion. And you started with, I don't think, so that's beautiful because that is your opinion. Annie G. Mama D, is your super sticker disabled? I tried sending you one and it got canceled and refunded. I'm so confused. No, lovely. Jennifer Swain, thank you, lovely. No, it works. Thank you for that $50 snooper chat. You say love everyone's passion on this case. You guys, last video we did, I told you about what happens with YouTube. But before I went to bed, I checked and it was still green. And I was like, ah, cool. So I went to bed. And when I woke up this morning, strike. And I'm like, are you serious? So I put it in and applied for the review. I'm like, whatever. And then I got to thinking, I wonder if the word suspect, if I pull that out of the title, if it'll work. And I pulled it out and it instantly turned back into its normal no strike. And I was like, what? It was weird. You feel me? Candy Wrapper says, not sure if it's true, but I heard, thank you, lovely, on another channel that there was a deceased body found a few hours from Yogi Bear Campground. It was, and it was not Sebastian, unless you're talking about a different one that just happened. I meant to say bump their heads too many times. Wait a minute. Joyful says, who let all these people out of the state hospital? I think they don't bump their heads too many times. Should not be let out the house. I don't know what you're saying, Jen. I just don't, lovely. Akira says, Nina is Native American. I would seek protection of her daughter through the tribe, move on to the reservation if necessary. I'm going to leave my opinion out of that. Glenda Hinshaw says, dark place because people become close. I betted the part out of that gamer, but had I not, he could have fell victim. Okay, I follow you. Hello, Kim French. Welcome back. You say, I really wonder who gave Ellie the scent of the clothing for Sebastian. You can clearly hear on the recording Katie was still out driving. What piece of clothing did they use? Very curious. Candy Wrapper says, did anyone hear the interview the other night on Allegedly with Brittany with Seth? I did. Candy Wrapper says, no, that's the one I was talking about. Didn't know who it was. Okay. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this, but I don't know what the heck that was that's going around on the YouTube street, but it looked like the green screen failed on TT Tony. And it looked really bad. Now, don't talk ugly and say the words, but let's just say it looked like a pee-pee. You know what I'm saying. What was it? Cheryl Barbie says, well, that's weird. Why? Feel like you're in the... What happened? Oh, you mean about the case? Yes, I'm not showing it because it literally looked like... Okay, I'm going to tell it. Yes, Mr. Winky. Thank you, Candy Wrapper. Well, we'll just call it Mr. Winky. All right, listen to me. Go to J for Justice, and she will review Bobby the neighbor's interview. And then she wants you, she's so cute, and she's smart too. I love J for Justice. She wants you to laugh and dance at the end when you leave, right? So she plays a little video. And I'm going to tell you right now, if that's not a hoax, that's scary as hell. And then JLR also talked about it. And they're saying, and I trust both those people, are saying that the green screen like started to fall, kind of like melt away a little bit. And it appeared on screen like a Mr. Winky. Like, seriously, I seen the picture of what they showed, and I was like, I was grossed out. I was totally grossed out. So, I don't know. Sassy honey, JLR saw it too. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. Justice for All says, TT Tony had already responded. What a loser. Yes, 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 yes. It wasn't just me. Y'all, I'm telling you, I can't show it. It makes me ill. It looks like his Frankfurter was out, but the beans was not, but the Frankfurter was out. Frankfurter man is supposedly speaking out now about it. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, it could have been a hoax. It was nasty. It was disgusting. And I was like, what in the actual world? And it kept happening. And I was like, I'm going to throw up. It was so gross. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I can't show it. I know. Um, Starry Night's like, how can this be real life? I don't know. It was it you guys, I thought I was being punked. Like, I thought I was being punked. Glenda Henshaw says, OMG, he needs to be looked at by the FBI. I don't I don't know if it was real. I don't know if somebody took it and was like, let's make this up. But KLR brought it up. And then Justice J for Justice brought it up. And or J for Justice for All. I can't remember the thing. I don't know. Jenny Lind says it was uncomfortable, you guys. Okay, thank you, June Coggins. Saw it. I wouldn't just leave that word out there by its own, because that's exactly what we saw. I'm just saying the Frankfurter looked solid. It was disturbing. Justice for All says, yes, it was awful. Jay had us in stitches, though. Yes. Thank God she made me laugh, because but I can't watch it, and I'm not going to tape it, and I will not show something like that on my channel. I can't. It makes me cringe. He'll never get a date with that. It was so gross, Jenny. All right, so give me a one if you know what green screen is. So what happens is you hang up a green screen, which is a solid green cloth or a solid green wall behind you. And then you tell the computer to make that color invisible. And then you can put whatever you want up there. That's how I do like a lot of my screens and stuff. Well, once in a while, that green screen, it gets moved a little bit, or the wind hits it, whatever, and it'll get a shadow where the light doesn't hit it solid, and it won't be that same color green. And so it'll fail, and you see the true picture, if you will, of what it is. All right, I don't know what I saw. You heard it. Carolyn Miller. Jenny Bill knows what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. All right, good. So the green screen fails. Yes, Glenda Henshaw. Without even seeing it, I'm telling y'all, it smelt of SA or traffic. It was, yes, June's like, it was gross. Miss None Your Business, did you see it on the live? Did you guys see it when it was live? I never saw it when it was live because I don't watch him on there. I don't go watch TT because I find him disgusting. Sassy. I guess he should have painted his pickle green. I have one thing to ask you guys if we're going to make fun of this. Tony, what's the deal, pickle? Jenny Bill like a pickle. Oh, Lord. Lisa says, so he was standing there naked thinking no one could see him. Like, I don't know. It looked like his hand was on his junk and he was stiff. Like his hot dog was stiff. And we'll just call it a weenie. And it was under the deskish. I don't know, you guys. I can't. It hurts my head. Like, I don't know. Was it real? Did you guys seen it? You seen it, Turtle? Oh, you guys are killing me. Okay. Jenny Ling says I was freaking disgusting and why was he even out? And that pissed me off. Is that if it's real, it was over Sebastian's face. Y'all, if that is real, what kind of monster? I know y'all, I'm trying to find out if it's real or if I'm being punked. Jennifer Swain says I'm dying. I'm just saying he's from now on going to be known as What's the Deal Pickle. I can't even say Tony anymore. From now on, it's What's the Deal Pickle. I don't get it. Eleanor. Okay. Pee Wee Herman style. Thank you, Janine. Unbelievable, says Eleanor. Jennifer says, I'm peeing my pants here. Mama D said Frankfurt was out, but the beans were not. I'm just saying, you guys, it breaks me out. Like, I'm asking somebody, okay, let's start there. I'm so wrong by this. Starry Night says, why are you doing that during a live? Candy Rapper says he needs a cease and desist order. You guys, was it real? People said it happened during the live. Glinda, that part isn't funny. Oh no, I'm beyond appalled at that. I'm laughing at a couple, the idea that it's so bizarre. Like, was that real? You feel me? If that's real, action needs to be happening with police. This is YouTube. Oh, no, it isn't. It's TikTok. Can they do that? Is it? Oh, yeah, that's a different world, ain't it? I'm going to tell you now. If that turns out to be real, he needs to be checked before he's... Why is he so attracted to these missing kid cases? Jumping from one to the next, trying to get in with the parents, get as close as possible. I'm surprised they didn't get a strike. Well, it was on TikTok. Sunflower's True Crime. It was about a dill pickle. That's all I'm going to say about it. See, that's what I'm saying. Is it photoshopped? Is it photoshopped just to humiliate him? Because if it is, I don't want to say nothing. I know, but TikTok is not under the same rules, and that is often why people go over there. Right, Candy Wrapper? Why be around? Why be on TikTok with all the little ones? Right? Big red flags, in my opinion. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, he isn't on any more cases anymore, says Justice for All. Yeah, I heard the news too. He's not now. But why is he so attracted to all the missing kid cases? If he's doing that. That's concerning. Maybe it's photoshopped. Right, Jenny Lang. That's the question. I'm not going to read it because, YouTube, but Candy Ripper says, no, I don't believe it's photoshopped. Yeah, he was showing his pickle, y'all. What's the deal? I don't understand this. If it's real, that's mental illness. If it's real. And if it's Photoshop, that's not funny. None of it would be truly funny. But I mean, I have to kind of giggle at the fact that I was not expecting that. And so I was like, I mean, if you would have been a fly on the wall and watched my expression, I was like looking around for hidden cameras. I was like, what am I seeing? Right. That's true. Some men at a certain age has no clue how technology works. Was it on during the live, Akira? Because you can't really Photoshop during the live. If that's real, that could be a felony. It was not Photoshopped according to Miss Nunya Business. Mr. If says TikTok is Chinese owned, which is why the platform is being boycotted by the USA. And it also does allow very horrific stuff. I didn't really know what TikTok was, and my elderly mother got on there and basically called to alert me to tell me that it was the most obscene thing, and she wanted to know how to get it off her phone. Jay for Justice still up. He has been going on these young girls' TikTok shows. It's beyond normal. He represents Sebastian, nobody else. Broke that zipper. Lowered, y'all. It could be fake, Lisa, but if it was live, says Miss Nunya Business. K9 Watcher says, yes, on a live at the 12:09 mark, it was a YouTube channel. What? Bernadette says, watch her short before it's also taken down. Unfortunately, as clear as ding dong on her posted short. I am floored. Cheryl Barbane, that's very concerning, photoshopped or not. He should be reported. There is something so wrong here, y'all. Yeah, TT is all sick crap. Somebody post a link. I don't know if you want to see it. June Coughlin says, I don't think it was fake. Justice for All says that it's true about TikTok. Military personnel can't have it on our phone. Annie Jean says, I wish a neighbor would have said what time Kathy Dirty Socks got there in the AM. I do too. American Pie says, well, I didn't see this. OMW. Yeah. Isabel just is rambling. Bless Mama D and crew. Well, thank you. Thank you, lovely. Let me get caught back up on chat. Exactly, Jennifer. That is pretty much criminal. Calgal says Bobby was brave to come forward. I hope she's safe. Chris is dangerous, in my opinion. Candy Rep Report 20 says it's pretty clear and very disgusting, in my opinion, while talking about a missing child and then it coming out all over the child's picture. Just my opinion. Y'all, what world? I can't. I can't believe that's real. It's in JLR Sebastian Facebook group. That's freaking me out. Because somebody like that should never be around kids. Period. In my opinion. Lace Weisbrod says, hello, Mama D. My name is Lacey, and I am totally blind and autistic. I absolutely love your channel. I find his behavior absolutely disgusting, and I am so glad that I did not see that. Right? Well, bless your heart. Thank you for tuning in, lovely. I appreciate you joining us. It's blowing my mind. Lisa is saying that Bobby is one brave woman. I agree. Glenda says, in my opinion, this case just took a different turn for me. I see a traffic situation. This is so depraved. For real. Cowgal says, in my opinion, Ellie knows who and what those lights were, in my opinion. But who photoshopped it? Dana Lynn says 39 minutes ago, Jay states Tony is claiming it's photoshopped. Well, of course, Tony would claim that. Candy Rapper 420 says that little clip is all over the internet right now, and it's totally disturbing. Lacey says he needs to be locked away for this disgusting behavior, in my opinion. I told you, Jenny, you probably didn't want to see it. Y'all don't listen to me. If it was something that didn't need therapy afterwards, I would have shared it. If Mama D don't share it, there's a protection for you right there. George Ganna says, hello, everyone. Hello, lovely. Hello, hello. Welcome to the channel, says Sassy. Miss None Your Business. Honestly, I do not like TTT, but I think he accidentally did whatever he was doing because he's not tech savvy. Cheryl Barbane says, wasn't she on camera at the store that morning? Kate Dirty Socks? Huh. I thought her car was. I don't remember them saying she was. But I don't know if it was on camera. I don't think any of us know it was on camera because they didn't have their camera. It wasn't saved by the time they got there. However, wasn't it that neighbors claimed to see her car parked in the area of the RL General Store? Wasn't it something like that? I'm going to grab a drink. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a little bit of a asthma attack. Give me just a minute, please. It got really warm up here, and then I'm having a hot flash, and it just makes it really hard for me to breathe once in a while if it's humid. Annie Jean says the timeline doesn't add up to me at all. Well, I was wondering about that. Like, if the shoes are exchanged, let's just say that the handoff theory, there's something to it. So let's just pretend for a minute that stepdaddy's got mama's car, grandma's car, right? Dirty Sock's car. And he literally is waiting near the home. And at the last second, they switch off, right? And all of a sudden, he's with Sebastian. And boom. I mean, where's Chris this whole time until, 5:15 a.m.? Nobody really knows. Sure, he's on a phone call, but we never know. He can't even tell us if his phone is moved because it's an investigation, right? So, yep, if that little phone call is staged at 9 o'clock, right? Who's to say he didn't call her in the car or the vehicle on his little drive back to his RV? He never says where he is exactly, and would we believe him anyway? So he gets on the phone at 9 o'clock. He's almost home. He leaves his phone connected, right? He takes Sebastian out into the place I talked to you about in the handoff theory, and that's that. He's got the shoes. He now drives back, rinses the bag out in the pond to leave the scent of Sebastian, takes that little flashlight, walks across the little yard, hands the shoes to Katie, and says, there you go. He goes back into his car, his mama's car, and then he drives all the way back to work. And he gets there actually early. Could happen. It's close. Oxygen in a can inhaler and menopause. Well, it's like everybody in my house got sick a couple weeks ago. Well, a week ago. And I just caught a little bit of it. And it's just at very late in the evening, my chest starts feeling a little tough. But I'm okay. No worries, Carolyn. Thank you, lovelies. Thank you. Cowgal says, is it true that Kathy Bowersox was seen at the store at 5:45 a.m.? They don't open till 7. We've just heard rumors. The neighbors have said that they believe that to be true. Candy Rapper says, I want to know how they were on the phone if Katie was asleep from 10 to midnight. Gosh, that's so true. Time to call in Cy Ray. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Somebody get a hold of Cy Ray and suggest that he look into the case so that he can do a podcast on it, right? He's into true crime, all that kind of stuff. Cheryl Barbane says, yes, somebody said that it was her car. I was just wondering if anyone knew what time it was and if the store had a camera. So, yes on the camera. But by the time the police asked for the footage, it was over a week later, and it had been already recorded over. I kid you not. Rachel Marie says, as for Tony, I'm running behind. You can't Photoshop while you're live. This man is a real sicko. That's a lot of people telling me it happened when he was live. Was there camera at the store? Yep, we answered that one. Carolyn Miller, the most ironic thing about the phone call, Katie called the phone, was on 3 hours, but they only spoke 20 minutes before Katie fell asleep. Their story is falling apart, in my opinion. Jenny Lynn says, would she throw the shoes in the dryer, perhaps? Good question. Annie Jean says, yeah. How did he call Granny Bowersox, Seth, and L.E.? How did he? I think she means she. on three-way before 7:30. I don't know. Oh, thank you, hot tea. That sounds good. Yeah. Dana Lynn says they are smart enough to use Trackbone and I think use coworker's truck. Interesting. Vivian P says Chloe and the PI was also told this when brought on a live. Chris got irate. Cowgirl says, in my opinion, the more they talk, the more boxed in they get. Well, I agree, you guys. I truly do. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. And, yeah. If that turns out not to be a Photoshop prank, well, if that turns out to be a Photoshop prank on the weenie, the Frankfurter, I honestly, whoever did that, I'm so embarrassed for you because this is a serious case with a child missing. So if that was photoshopped by somebody, that was sick. Just very poor taste. If it wasn't photoshopped, then I think legal action should happen. And I think if that really did happen, that person needs to be looked at seriously about being around children. That's concerning. That is freaking me out. That's just crazy. Right. That should be turned. If that is true, I would turn that in. I would definitely turn that in. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. I love you guys very, very much. I am going to switch us over, get our song going for Sebastian. And I will catch you again very soon. Perhaps tomorrow. Perhaps I'll take a day off. We'll see how the day goes. I hope that you have a great time away. And be careful what you see on the internet. Some of it's a little like, whoa. Like I didn't even plan on seeing TikToks. That got sprung on me. Ugh. Like I said, this world's getting weird, you guys. Keep Sebastian in your prayers. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It always helps. Say a little prayer for him. Ask Jesus to keep him safe. Or whoever you believe in for a higher power to protect Sebastian. I love you guys. To the moon and back.
You can tell yourself and all our friends I was wrong and you were right. But your sins that happened in the dark will come out in the light. I'm not gonna waste my breath, I won't put up a fight. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time Time will tell, time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, you'll feel like every finger points at you, 'cause you're to blame. And the days are gonna whisper, and the months are gonna talk, until the years yell out the truth. And time will tell, time will tell on you. It's gonna tell on you.